with the ability to communicate with all animals. The original bards were half man half bird, just like you see in Reason 131. Because they, 195 page, had wings, they became easily associated with angels, but they are the fallen ones, the beginning and end of our troubles. When studying Islam, I noticed certain inconsistencies right away. The main one being the story concerning the intelligence level of Prophet Muhammad. It is said that Muhammad could neither read nor write, and this put special emphasis on the miracle, the Quran, purported to be given to him by the angel Gabriel. After all, it lends a lot more credibility if a man who can neither read nor write all of a sudden appears with one of the greatest spiritual works of the time, rich in poetic meaning and spiritual dialogue. The original book was said to be numerically equivalent to the number 19 and was never translated into the vulgar languages. This book remains protected by the Sudanese till this day. Many anomalies exist within the book itself, like all the chapters when added up produce a number divisible by the number 19. How many times Allah is mentioned in the whole Quran that number is divisible by 19? The first chapter, Al-Fatiha, when said correctly, causes the tongue to touch the roof of the mouth 19 times. It exceeds a normal person's capability after a while to keep the consistencies of 19s going. Even our modern computers could not do it, since a story is also unfolding while the perfect numbers roll in place. This became the sign of the Muslims that Muhammad was guided and in contact with the great deity Allah through his host, the angel Gabriel. The angel Gabriel is known to be the of the moon Gabriel. It seems where most of the scholars and spiritual leaders of today get lost is thinking that these religions are so separate. Also in question is the mandatory ceremony of Encoded established by Muhammad himself, which consists of a sacrifice to Allah in the name of the child, 2 he-goats for a boy, and 1 he-goat for a girl. This incantation must be said during the sacrifice and feast. O Allah, I offer to thee instead of my own offspring life for life, blood for blood, head for head, bone for bone, hair for hair, and skin for skin. In the name of the great Allah, I do sacrifice this goat. Why does it appear that Allah would even want a child to be sacrificed, and something must expiate that? This is something that continues to reoccur in the history of man's involvement with these gods. All of this, I believe, shows the reasoning of mankind is deluded. Even the people who are said to be the most devout in purity. If there is a God that wants us to sacrifice our children to him, then we have a war at hand. I'm saying this after millions of children have already been sacrificed and thousands continue to disappear. Who will face this foe? Bomar has fastened his armor, and who will join him? In Islam it says that Muhammad married Khadija, who was a rich businesswoman who chose Muhammad to run all of her business dealings because he was a whiz with numbers. This begins to shake the foundation of Muhammad being illiterate, seeing that if he knew how to add and subtract, he also knew how to read and write. Remember, Arabic also has the same letters for numbers. There was no doubt 2 Muhammads existed during that time. One was teaching pure monotheism and the other was an invention of a man named MrSpiritMatter, a political leader who saw the charisma of the real, 196 page, Muhammad and attempted to entice him to be a political leader. Muhammad, they said, would have no of it, so MrSpiritMatter became his sworn enemy, ultimately succeeding in getting Muhammad poisoned. Or was it the other Muhammad? Do you think they could poison the guided? Did they not say we could drink the poison of vipers and it would have no effect? We are not the body, it is only the vehicle to traverse this dimension, and it is sluggish and moveth about like a square wheel going uphill. The Kaaba itself in history was used at various times for idol worship, although it is said that Muhammad came to do away with such things. The Kaaba had been destroyed several times by razes, fires, and natural causes through history. On those occasions it was always men from Egypt of high nobility who paid to rebuild it. The connection between Egypt and the Kaaba is very heavy. It is known better as the shrine, and has been an object of veneration for hundreds of years. Laws exist such as if you walk around it 70 times all your sins are forgiven, if you pray in special section you get a better position in paradise. As children these stories can be fascinating, but as adults we should know better. No amount of times walking around the cube will expiate you from wrongdoing. Life itself is the biggest example of that. Things are taken at times from the Kaaba and sold, like the water from the well of Zemzem and dust from the covering. Reason 145. A great deal of illumination came from the Arabs and their affiliations with the genies and jinns, called also in Hindu, Jan, meaning devils. The religions of the world all connect, and it is only the blinded that hold fast to their faith while talking about another. The true belief is internal. Pictured here, Ilah al-Ilahu, the Muslims are forbidden to carve images of the god for purposes of secrecy and sanctity. They used designs in their rich language to express what they viewed. Notice the swastika on the medallion. We see the same thing with Rail. Are you beginning to see that the inner circle is not as separate as they claim? It is the people who are divided defending the gods as if they need the protection of man, offering to them as if they eat food and spend money. 197 Page. Reason 146. There is no doubt that the Kaaba itself is on a major ley line. Islam contains so many sects from Sunni, Shiite, Sufi, Ahab, etc. Its inner circle of mysticism remains unable to be included in the general religion itself. By this I mean the Arab world abounds with sorcery, and many such practices. However, it is easy to pin that on the individual, not the believer, since the Quran forbids such things. I believe one of the four gates of the world to be contained here. The belief in one God is also found in this faith. However, I question if the one God has a 5-letter name that is tossed about before acts of vengeance. Likewise, the sacrifices are senseless and should be treated as such. One of the most sacred parts of the Kaaba is the stone jewel placed in the corner as seen above. In another more detailed account of jewels falling from the sky, Lucifer in legend was struck by the great angel so hard it knocked the jewels out of his crown and they fell to earth, and those who, 198 Page, recovered them were said to gain magical powers. This does sound a little more like a campfire tale. However, there are 12 known synergy crystals that are said to enhance the human ability. They are Moldavite, Danbrit, Tanzanite, Azazchilite, Phenacite, Herderite, Tibetan Tektite, Satyaloka quartz, Pedalite, Brookite, Naturalite, and Scolasite. Most of these stones are meteorites that have fallen from space throughout time. Whether they came out of the crowns of angels could be metaphoric. They are made of foreign elements hardened into glass while entering our atmosphere. In Catholicism there are 4 great angels: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, of whom the latter is sometimes swapped for other angels, but at least the other 3 stay the same. If you go to a Baptist church, they will assure you they have nothing in common with Catholicism, yet when the main prayers are taking place, the names of the angels are sometimes mentioned, and they are of course the same. In Islam the same thing happens, and even in the New Age movement one often receives emails from someone who has channeled the Archangel Michael, who sends light into the grid as we make our transcendence into the beyond and all that mumbo jumbo. So what does this tell you? It's obvious that if the main workers for the religions have remained the same, then all of the religions are in some way linked to the same source. Even deeper, you will find that the name Michael means one who is like God. If I remember correctly, there was only one who pretended he was like the Most High, and we held him from space. Some may believe this is a stretch to advocate that Michael may be a fallen angel. However, let us think again where the term angel really comes from. Reason 147. This is a well-known painting of the angel Gabriel and Muhammad that has survived since antiquity. It strikes me as odd that Gabriel has black wings, which signifies a fallen angel. In addition to the